Logical fallacies are errors in reasoning that make an argument invalid or unsound. They can be intentional or unintentional, and they can be used to deceive or persuade others. Logical fallacies often involve using irrelevant, false, or weak evidence to support a claim. Here are some examples of common logical fallacies. Straw man. This fallacy involves distorting or misrepresenting an opponent's argument to make it easier to attack. For example, people who oppose the death penalty are soft on crime and don't care about justice. Slippery slope. This fallacy involves exaggerating the consequences of an action or decision, claiming that it will inevitably lead to a series of undesirable outcomes. For example, if we legalize marijuana, then people will start using harder drugs and become addicted and ruin their lives. Argument from authority. This fallacy involves appealing to the opinion or expertise of an authority figure who is not relevant or qualified to the topic at hand. For example, my dentist says that climate change is a hoax, so it must be true. False dilemma. This fallacy involves presenting only two options or alternatives when there are more possibilities available. For example, you're either with us or against us. Argument from ignorance. This fallacy involves claiming that something is true or false because it has not been proven or disproven. For example, there is no evidence that aliens exist, so they don't. Post hoc ergo propter hoc. This fallacy involves assuming that because one event follows another, the first event caused the second. For example, I wore my lucky shirt today and I aced the test. My shirt must have made me smarter. No true Scotsman. This fallacy involves redefining the criteria or terms of an argument to exclude counterexamples or objections. For example, no true Scotsman would ever vote for independence. Texas sharpshooter fallacy. This fallacy involves selectively using evidence or data that supports a conclusion, while ignoring or discarding evidence that contradicts it. For example, the shooter hit the target 10 times out of 100. He must be a great marksman. Circular reasoning. This fallacy involves using the conclusion of an argument as a premise to support it. For example, the Bible is true because it says so in the Bible. Accident. This fallacy involves applying a general rule or principle to a specific case that is an exception or does not fit the rule. For example, lying is always wrong. Therefore, it is wrong to lie to a murderer who asks where your friend is hiding. Begging the question. This fallacy involves assuming the truth of what you are trying to prove without providing any evidence or argument. For example, God exists because it says so in this holy book. Fallacy of composition. This fallacy involves inferring that something is true of the whole from the fact that it is true of some part of the whole. For example, this car has a powerful engine. Therefore, this car is fast. Equivocation. This fallacy involves using a word or phrase in different senses or meanings in the same argument, creating ambiguity or confusion. For example, all men are mortal. Socrates is a man. Therefore, all men are Socrates. Ad hoc fallacy. This fallacy involves making up a reason or explanation for something that has no evidence or basis. For example, I saw a ghost last night. It must have been because of the full moon. Ad hominem fallacy. This fallacy involves attacking the person who makes an argument rather than the argument itself. For example, you can't trust his opinion. He's a liar and a cheat.